Hey, everybody, and welcome back. It's Inside the Force. Dave Cottingham with Casey Cooley.
Hello, everybody.
Your mic's working this week.
Yes.
I almost messed up and had it wrong again.
Mic is working, but my voice isn't quite working.
Correct, yes.
Recovering from hoarse voice. Sound almost like Quill a little bit from Mandalorian. Got a little McNulty thing happening. That's why I got my tea here. Help me get through this.
That's right. Yes, thanks for toughing through it.
Yeah.
I'll do most of the talking, that's fine. Welcome back, everybody. We are 22 days away from the Rise of Skywalker.
It definitely feels closer. Like I can feel it.
I know.
Even closer now.
I know, because there's some great marketing pieces that have been coming out. You've been seeing them, right?
Yeah, I actually have.
On a complete side note, I didn't know this, but we've got this thread going with me, you, Cody, and Corey.
Yeah.
And I didn't know you could hide those images.
I forgot you could, yeah. I didn't know you could do it on images. I knew you could do it with text.
Oh, okay.
I didn't know you could do it on images. But yeah, that's pretty nifty. You can do a little secret, invisible ink in a way.
Yeah. For those of you who don't know what we're saying, is that we all have iPhones, right? And I guess it's just an iMessage thing where you can send a clip or a video or text, I guess, and you can hide it, ink it, so that if you don't want to be spoiled, you don't have to click on it.
Yes, it's like a little sparkly, dusty filter, and then you touch it and it goes away and reveals messages. So it's a nice way to keep spoiling, but it's even more tempting when you do it. It's like, well, now I got to see it.
I know, right?
Yeah.
So that's because Cody put something on there that was about the new TV spot, like just in case you don't want to see it.
Yeah.
It's got some footage in there, but it's there. It is tempting, but 22 days, 18 hours, meaning our countdown is to 6 o'clock on December 19th, which is when we've got tickets to see the Rise of Skywalker. So for this episode, we're going to dive into a lot of that new clips and everything that's been released about the Rise of Skywalker. We will talk about the Mandalorian Chapter 3. It came out last Friday. Casey hasn't been able to do it yet, but I'll talk briefly about Episode 3 of Vader Immortal that dropped last week as well. We're in the middle of some books. I'm in Resistance Reborn. You just started Force Collector.
Yes.
And on top of that, there's Baby Yoda merchandise coming. So,
yeah.
And then we want to wrap up as we get closer, 22 days as we get closer with the approaching Rise of Skywalker. We've got to dive into some characters as we've been kind of building our journey throughout this year with some highlights of some characters and connections to the close of the Skywalker saga. We're definitely going to start hitting on our main characters, Ben Solo, Kylo Ren, and Rey. In this episode, we'll talk a little bit more about Kylo. So, all right, so let's dive into this. I think the first thing is Rise of Skywalker stuff. I think before we get into the clips, first thing that I saw before the clips started dropping is they finally released the character posters that we get every.
Right.
Have you seen those?
Yep.
I thought they were actually.
Excuse me.
I thought they were actually very simple and
definitely
not really in the vein of the other ones that have been in the previous years.
Yeah.
You know?
Excuse me. Yeah, like the Force Awakens ones, I remember had the faces with like their weapon over the face.
Yes,
kind of
about
thing.
half their face, yeah.
Yeah. I can't remember Last Jedi top of my head, but
they were the red, like they were all in kind of the red robes.
Yeah, right. That's right.
Rey had the Kylo, Luke, Leia.
Right. Yeah, these were pretty funny.
These were just the star background and a cutout of their characters. And Finn got a lot of...
Finn is just like, just stand there and look shocked and look at the corner. He's like, whoa. Like he just got caught. And doesn't even have a gun in his hand. He's just kind of standing there with his palms out. Like, all right.
Yeah, it very much seemed like just a snapshot of a frame in the movie, and they just cut him out.
Yeah, possibly.
Wasn't a posed, artwork for a poster like you did see in the previous. Even the Solo ones had, at least they were positioned, they were posing, whatever. I don't know. It's a little weird. Not ones that I would be interested in getting. But hey, character posters are character posters. They're just single posters.
Just little quick things.
So there was a so as we get into the new footage that's been coming out, I didn't even realize they were doing this, but I guess the cast and JJ showed up on Good Morning America the other day,
Right.
where they released first one of the short clips that came out, and it was a real quick scene. If anybody hadn't seen it yet, it's nothing revealing. I'm assuming it definitely takes place early in the movie. Mm-hmm. It's kind of what we've seen in the trailer, the speeder chase on the, I guess, Pasana.
Yeah.
And basically what happens, the Star Wars humor in it, what happens is the troopers with the jetpacks kind of get ejected into the air and start flying. And, of course, they're like, oh, they're flying now?
They say like 5 times.
Yeah.
They're flying? Oh, they're flying. Okay, they're flying.
They're flying now?
Yeah.
They're flying now. You know? But it's funny because I don't know if you saw, but I saw a tweet on Twitter. I saw a tweet that said, someone said, like, JJ, did he not do his research?
I know.
Did you see that one? They've been flying this whole time. It's like
I feel like the negativity around a lot of these things getting more, I don't know, more in the mainstream.
Yeah.
Because maybe I'm just following more people, but I'm seeing it more often on my feed. That kind of stuff, and it's a little disconcerting.
I think I only saw it because I saw a reply.
Yeah.
From somebody I guess I follow that said, why do these people exist? Or something like that. They're like, why are these people, why do these people have to exist and comment like that? It's like, and then they said something like, they basically were saying that they haven't seen the First Order ever fly.
I did go through a thread, and yes, that is true, but someone did put a screenshot of a issue from Poe Dameron comic where you have First Order troopers with jetpacks.
Oh, really?
In a Poe Dameron comic. So it's like, I didn't read it, so I have to look in the context of it. I don't know if that means Poe saw them or just other Black Squadron pilots, but I mean, people are going to nitpick about it, so be nitpicky
that would be a pretty big mistake if that's true.
I've been trying to think about it today. It's like, you want that canon continuity to exist as much as possible, but it's like, is it okay that they let slip maybe one little thing that they didn't, sure, it's not going to end the world, but obviously you want that believability across all mediums, and if they start getting a little inconsistent with little things, and it kind of can just take you out of a story. I get that. So, but still, it's like, come on, it's okay.
Yes, it is okay. So the clip is very, very short. It's only like 30 seconds. So definitely people, if they want to see it, I don't think it spoils anything.
No.
But StarWars.com on the same day also released, which I thought was an incredible video. It's called The Rise of Skywalker Special Look. It's 2.5 minutes, almost basically a trailer in a sense, but it's not a trailer of the movie per se. It's basically just a summary of the entire journey of the Skywalker saga in a sense. It's really emotional. It's got some great behind the scenes shots.
Yeah, from all the sequel trilogy movies.
Yes. It's got, it's even got a shot of Kevin Smith.
Oh, no, from non-Star Wars.
Yeah, because it talks about like
Bob.
The fan involvement. And I saw a tweet that I'm guessing he didn't even know. The way it seemed in the tweet is that he was floored that he's like, oh my gosh, the little kid in me watching this thing, I couldn't believe that I was. So, I would think they would have asked his permission, because
his studio maybe, I don't know.
But
it's true.
A quick shot of him in there, but there's just it's basically this the pop culture of Star Wars. I mean, you got President Obama talking about
that was a cool clip.
You know what I mean? Like you got. I don't know. What'd you think about this thing? Because it was pretty emotional for me.
I definitely loved it. And I think that was my favorite part, where they were showing the fans and the, I guess you can call them high profile people of pop culture and their fandom, like Obama, and Kevin Smith. So it was really fun, very cool to see all that. And of course, I love anything that's behind the scenes. So seeing anything with the cast and crew, having fun on set, that kind of stuff is always super cool.
Yeah,
super fun.
Yeah, a lot of comments from Mark Hamill.
Yeah,
throughout the years, he's talking about being on set, and then his clip is kind of the one that ends it when he's like, "You don't want it to end."
And he's dressed in his Jedi outfit from Return of the Jedi, which is cool.
Yeah, so it truly is. This is the first. I know they've publicly acknowledged that this is the end of the Skywalker saga, but this is like the first. Mm-hmm. Video that kind of sums it all up, and I think we're gonna get a lot more of these things. I think we're gonna get a lot more of these.
That'd be cool.
These full, over the years type arc videos that show, everything that happened back in the 70s and early 80s, all the stuff that happens with the prequels, and it's like it's showing the phenomenon that has built with Star Wars and how much is ingrained, and that's really what this is how much it's just part of our culture these days. Just think about it. It's 40 plus years. It's like, that's my entire life. Yeah. Right. Star Wars is and it's truly, it's basically following up on what the trailers have included as far as their text in there, right? The story of a generation, the story lives forever kind of thing. You know what I mean? They're really pushing that this is the end, but you know what? It's going to keep going. It's not going to stop here. It's going to keep going kind of thing.
Yeah. No, Good Morning America. I think JJ did an interview with George Stephanopoulos, and excuse me, talking about that. Where in that interview, JJ actually says that the film is now finally done.
Yeah, John Williams just finished up the soundtrack last week.
They're confirming that it's about 2 hours and 21 minutes. So it's good. We're good to go. We're done in the can. So that's very exciting to think about. 3 weeks out. So hopefully
2:21. Are you upset by that a little bit?
Oh, I want it longer, but no,
because that's not the longest,
right? But that's it's great. No, it's like I want an end game. I want 3 hour long.
Yeah, no, I think we kind of looked up. 2:21 is kind of long for JJ,
right?
He usually doesn't do movies that long, so definitely wanted a 3 hour movie also, but that's a lot. I feel like 2:21 is all. There's a lot to fit in there. Well,
they have a lot of. They definitely have a lot of questions to answer. I think for this story.
They do.
I also read, I think from Daisy Ridley, because she's been on like Jimmy Fallon recently, doing a bunch of stuff. That this does. We've heard this before, but this is a conclusion. This this feels like an end. So it just makes you want to speculate a lot about that. But it's interesting to think about.
Yeah. I also did read a quick article about, of course, Colin Trevorrow, who was set
I read that.
to write and direct Episode 9, that his original plans did not involve Emperor Palpatine.
I know, that was surprising.
And that was JJ putting him back in. Now, do you at all, because I don't know if we'll ever know this, do you at all think that was JJ's plan from Force Awakens, or this literally just came up with this movie?
I thought I had heard that it was his plan from the beginning.
Yeah, I thought I did too.
But I guess that's just where the freedom with each filmmaker comes. They can take it in a different direction if they want. So that's interesting. That was surprising to read.
Yeah, part of me feels like that maybe Carrie Fisher's death had something to do with the story being altered like that as well. Because, even Trevorrow was talking about how she was supposed to play a major role, possibly even be wielding a lightsaber.
Right.
Just think about that story, her fighting her own son, that could have been incredible, right?
Yeah.
Just like father and son in Return of the Jedi, right? You have mother and son. Wow, now talking about that, it's like, whoa, wait a minute.
It's been hard to see. But Trevorrow still gets a writing credit.
Yes.
They're still using some aspects of his story.
Yes, that's key to know because he's getting a story credit. So there are a lot, I think, from his script that they're keeping. And then JJ just introduced new ideas. It sounded like Trevorrow was at the table too when they were talking about it too. So it's just very interesting when you get into like who wrote what and what parts are they keeping and what parts are they alter, because you always, I mean, complete side note again, but the on the internet right now, release the Snyder Cut is like a big hashtag, right?
Right.
And it's like, again, you think about alternate versions of a film and what it was originally intended to be, and you'll never see it. Yeah. Unfortunately, I don't think we'll ever see the Snyder Cut, but we won't ever see Trevorrow's version or whatnot. But it's always interesting to speculate. But I think we'll talk about this as we get closer to the movie, but I think that bringing the Emperor back is the right move, because just the connection to the entire saga.
Absolutely.
So that's really all the latest on the Rise of Skywalker. Of course, again, I think all the marketing pieces are going to be just jacked up here in the next few weeks as we get closer. I haven't seen anything yet on the actual premiere date, like in LA when they do the live streaming. I'm sure they're going to be doing that. But real quick, too, on that sense, a little bit, is December 5th, for those of you, which is next weekend, is the opening of the Rise of the Rise of the Resistance at Disney's Galaxy's Edge down in Orlando. It's not getting open on Disneyland until January, but you will be able to ride that ride, which again I think has some a little bit significance of what's happening in the movie.
I believe so. I bet that.
Yeah,
I actually read that there's the rumor is that they're building X-wing drones the size of cars,
SUVs.
Yeah, SUVs to fly. I guess just for this event.
During the opening event, I think so. That day, yes, you're gonna see
like legit X-wings, flying in the sky. Like that's insane.
That is crazy. Yeah, that's crazy.
They hopefully it sounds like they're only doing it for just the opening, like you said. But I mean, do it more often.
Yeah, it's fun because when you're actually there. There's speakers all over the place, so you hear
that's cool.
X-Wings and TIE. Well, you don't. I don't think you hear X-Wings. You hear TIE fighters flying all over the place. But it does make you like look up in the sky. You're like, what?
I mean, come on, now they can
really cool.
do it.
Oh my god, if they actually did it, oh my gosh, yeah, that would be crazy.
Little dog fight.
Okay, so that's Rise of Skywalker. We'll get to the Mandalorian here just real quick on some other news. Well, not really news. Well, actually, one piece of news. I just saw this today. Actually, they released the cover for the first book in the next Thrawn trilogy. It is titled Thrawn Ascendancy: Chaos Rising, and this is coming out in May of 2020. Looking forward to that. I don't know if you got anything else to add to that, but I will look up it's the description that they're saying.
It's a prequel.
It is a prequel
to a prequel.
I guess that's right. Right?
Yeah.
It has to take place
before everything.
But here's the brief description that Del Rey put out on Twitter. It says, beginning in May 2020, an all-new trilogy by Timothy Zahn journeys beyond the edge of the map into the unknown regions. So this is book 1, Chaos Rising. So again, for the first time, really, we are going beyond the known galaxy into the unknown regions where the Chiss are from. I will say that I think you've heard it on the show here. The Thrawn trilogy that just came out. To me, the books declined as they went out. I think the first one was really good. I think the second one was okay, and I think there were parts about it that were really good with Anakin and Padme.
Absolutely.
The third one just I don't know. How far have you gotten?
I haven't read that one yet.
Yeah,
but I mean that's kind of what I've been hearing.
Yes.
That general. It's like the weaker of the three, but still has good elements.
Yeah, and we kind of knew. Obviously, it's tough, a little tough, because you know where it's going. You know that it leads up to Rebels. Him coming back in Rebels in season 4, so you knew there wasn't going to be all that. But the treason part really, it does. It's funny hearing the announcement for this now at the end of that book. Kind of does hint at a lot about the ascendancy. So it does make sense that now this is going back there. I'm just not sure. I don't feel, in my opinion, out there in the Star Wars fandom, I don't feel like Thrawn has become that type of favorite character that he was in the Legends canon trilogy. You know what I'm saying? Or not canon, but Legends Thrawn trilogy back in the 90s. I just don't think he's there yet.
I mean, I don't know if it's just they just need a bigger scale of a story for him.
Yeah.
I mean, I think his time in Rebels was really good, especially the I can't remember if it was his first season. I think it was his first season. He was in the Battle of Adelon with the Bendu, all that stuff. That was great.
Yes.
That felt like a good Thrawn story. But we haven't really it doesn't feel like we got that kind of level of threat that we had in the original Thrawn trilogy. But I mean, again, I can go back to my feelings about the expanded universe as it currently is in general, and how typically those stories won't be that threatening to the overall canon.
Right.
But I've been proven wrong by a few books, so it's not.
Well, I just think his popularity definitely came back when he was shown in Rebels. Came back in Rebels, obviously. I don't know if the novels have really done him justice, and I don't think you have
kind of fallen down a little bit.
Yeah, I don't think you have the audience really there. So I think if you're going to really make a splash with him, you got to put him in live action somewhere.
Oh my gosh,
right?
That would be nuts.
I would have even if I was in charge, I would almost make this series a Disney Plus series. These books a Disney Plus series.
Well, I not just that, but a current story of Thrawn.
Yes.
Like after Rebels.
Yep.
That last chapter for those characters to have Thrawn
in a series.
It's like, oh my gosh, live action series would be huge.
Huge. So that's coming in May 2020. The first book there. Like we briefly teased, apparently there will be some Baby Yoda merchandise coming. Yeah. Baby Yoda is just taking over the internet right now. And I'm so surprised, and I think I saw a clip from Fabra talk about. I'm really surprised how much they actually kept this a secret. Like
Absolutely.
we talked about it. Like I had no idea.
Yeah, I never would have guessed the species.
Exactly.
Never.
I mean, we talked about Force sensitive kid. I mean, you even mentioned that. But in my head, I could have ran through a million other species. I would have never thought Yoda's species.
I never would have thought that it would have been important to be a specific species.
Right.
It's like, I don't know. It could be, maybe it's a Rhodian baby. I don't know.
Yes.
It doesn't matter. But
would not have worked.
Yeah. It's like, okay, it's kind of cool. But, like we talked in the previous episode, like a Kit Fisto baby. It's like,
yes.
All right. But no, never would have guessed Yoda.
No. So,
I mean, are we even going to get the real name of the species or an actual name of the child?
I don't know.
Can't always call him Baby Yoda forever.
Yeah, that's the thing is part of me feels like, because I was trying to dig up some more research on this, and I'm actually starting to think that it's actually unknown in Star Wars, the Star Wars galaxy, that the species is unknown.
It's like, why didn't
you know what I mean?
Did no one ask Yoda?
I guess.
He's like, I don't talk about that.
Yeah, like what are you? What are we going to call you? Don't worry about it.
Yeah. Wait, no.
I don't know how else to say why we wouldn't know it unless they truly, Lucasfilm has never had it written down. But I would assume George wrote it down somewhere, and told somebody.
Thought about everything, but Yoda, I'm done. I don't want to think about it anymore.
And I think, but I think it goes back to him being really protective of that character, right? He wouldn't let anybody write anything about it. about him, about Yoda, about the background, about the history of where he comes from. Obviously, I think Filoni, I believe Filoni and George had some kind of talk throughout the Clone Wars about it. And maybe Filoni does know, and now maybe he's got the permission to do that. So I do think it's possible we do get some kind of history about it. And I think the way we get it, because I truly think I'm leaning towards this more and more, especially now that the kid, as we get into talking about the chapter 3, but I think the kid is going to be a staple throughout this season. I think we actually start getting, I think we see, again, my theory is I think we see Yoda in this series. I think, that shot in there where the battle droid is opening up I think the next thing we're going to see is a lightsaber going through that thing, and I think it's going to be Yoda's.
I almost expected to see it right there.
I did too.
I was like, well, here it is, but no.
So I think it's possible Yoda, you actually get backstory of his character, of his species from Yoda himself.
That'd be cool. Unless he is a clone of Yoda, so therefore Baby Yoda is the actually accurate term to call it. So,
yeah, that's true.
I don't know.
That's true. I saw, did you see that poster that Cody tweeted out where it's got the thread, Baby ID. Yoda, and then
like his fake ID is wait, hold on. No, I'm seeing something else.
It's the episode 1 poster.
Oh yeah.
With Baby Yoda and the shadow is Yoda.
Yeah.
And it says the beginning every legend has or something like that.
That was clever.
Yeah. It's great.
I was thinking there's tons of memes out there, obviously. So I was thinking of something else.
Okay, so let's briefly talk about it. Episode or chapter 3 of the Mandalorian. This was definitely a wrapping of this story arc, which they released. When they released the descriptions, they only released the descriptions to these first 3 episodes. And the fact that we have the descriptions for the next 3 as well. So you kind of had the feeling that this was going to wrap up whatever arc this was going to go. What was your overall impressions of this?
I loved it. Definitely took things into a different gear. Very much needed for the start of this series. Sped things up quite a bit. And so now it's like I'm not even worried about how slow the first 2 episodes felt. I kind of felt this was going to happen. Like the first 3 would feel very cohesive once they all came out. So now it's just like we got the very nice 2 first intimate episodes to learn these characters, to learn about Mando's compassion and the child, and now it's like the action that we really wanted. I had a great story in the 3rd episode as well, but it was just we got to see so much that I didn't even know we would see that soon.
Yeah,
in terms of action. But definitely my favorite episode so far.
Yes, definitely mine as well. I think I think for me, the Baby Yoda stuff was obviously very, very important, I think, to his character, because you can obviously see a lot of the compassion come from him, whatever. But it quickly took a shift in this episode to be more focused on not just him, but the overall family of Mandalorians,
right?
That are in hiding there, right? You got a quick background about them only going out one at a time. You can tell that they're frustrated that they have to be in hiding, but as the armor was saying, that their secrecy is their strength. So, but the whole "this is the way," which is the new line now, right? And the end, because him and the heavy infantry character, which apparently is labeled Paz Vizsla, they have that bout kind of inside their hiding place, but then at the end they're like, basically he's behind them, he's helping them escape, and they have to go back in hiding on a different planet. But that was more, to me, more of an advancement of the story, than Baby Yoda, because Baby Yoda is still, he grabbed him and took him, but it's like, what are you doing next with it? It's like, and according to these descriptions for the next 3 episodes, it's not really, unless it's centered around him. I don't know if you read them, but Yeah, so episode 4 is the Mandalorian teams up with the next soldier to protect the village from raiders. Obviously, I think that's referring to Cara Dune, which is played by Gina Carano. You got chapter 5. The Mandalorian helps a rookie bounty hunter who is in over his head. Now, I mentioned on the Mandalorian podcast that I think that's IG-11 coming back. I don't know what you have a theory on that.
I don't know. I think that could be the introduction of the Bill Burr character. He's a comedian that's he's in one shot where he's got all these guns around him.
Okay.
Maybe that's he's I don't know. He came across as a villain, but maybe he's like the rookie bounty hunter. Perhaps.
Good call. Chapter 6 is the Mandalorian joins a crew of mercenaries on a dangerous mission. Actually, that just reminded me. He could be actually part of the mercenaries.
That's
also
true too. I mean that feels very much like a different, like these episode synopsis. I mean, they feel so isolated from each other.
Yeah,
you know? The first 3 definitely felt it's an arc.
It did.
It's the asset.
That's right.
This, it's like, I don't know. It's like he's
Mad Max protecting a village, and then he's training a rookie, and then he's running on a dangerous mission. Yeah, that's
like Cara Dune's and all of those, or this rookie bounty hunters and all of those to help tie it all together. I don't see how Baby Yoda would fit into all that, but I mean, Moff Gideon perhaps is a villain in all 3. I don't know. It's strange.
Yeah, when does he start showing up? Yeah. Do you think that's the end of Werner Herzog's character in this series so far? This episode, or I mean, this season 1.
I don't think so. I mean, again, it's like I was watching through the trailers, and I thought I heard lines from his character that I haven't heard yet. But maybe I haven't. I'm not sure, but I don't think so. Yeah, he seems pretty huge.
Yeah, I'm baffled that we just haven't heard his name or know his name. Right?
I mean, yeah.
So I feel like there's some weight in his character still.
I don't see what his name could be though. He obviously doesn't look like anybody that we know of in Star Wars.
No.
So it's like, what would his name be? I don't like.
Yeah, but we could see them have, I guess, some kind of maybe Grand Moff title or some Moff title or some. I don't know. Could he be? I mean,
well, there's definitely someone above them, because when he was talking to Dr. Parshing about the guy who ordered them to get the child.
That's right. Which could be Moff Gideon.
It could. That's true too.
Yeah, there's no one. I was trying to think of people in the Aftermath books, that's hung around and didn't leave.
I thought of like Emperor's like Inner Circle.
Yes,
like Gaius Rax, those kind of guys.
Yes, yeah, some Imperial, some Admiral or General or something like that. I don't know, but either way, I don't know how significant that would be. Yeah, so
unless that would not make sense, right? That he's Brindle Hux. I don't think that would make sense at all in this time. It's after Jakku.
It's after you mean his father?
Yeah. Armitage?
Armitage Hux.
Is it?
No, he's Brendel.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sorry. Domhnall Gleeson plays
Armitage Hux, right?
Armitage.
Yeah, Brendel's the father.
Brendel's the father.
Yeah.
Wow, that's actually...
that's the only thing.
Wow, that's actually a good guess.
But I don't know how.
Because I don't know if he wasn't in the Aftermath books, right?
Yeah, he was. Because I mean, not much. Little Hux was in it because it kind of started the stormtroopers. Like they kind of hinted at the start of that regime. So I don't know if Brindle went with. I can't remember if he went with the rest of the Empire to the unknown regions.
That's a good thing. I gotta look up. That's actually that's actually a good call. So that's what I'm saying. I think that would mean,
and then that'd be recognizable.
A significant name that you don't want to reveal right away, because that could be.
And they already said that it's going to tie to the First Order. So I mean, that's the only kind of big reveal that I can imagine.
Oh, see, that's what they could be doing is using. They could be wanting a Force sensitive blood to.
Maybe it powers the Sith troopers.
That I saw that rumor floating around.
Oh, really?
Actually. Yes. Oh, you haven't seen that?
No, I haven't yet.
I saw the headline, but I didn't want to click on it.
No.
The headline was the connection between the possible Force users and the Sith troopers, and whether or not they used the Force sensitive.
They cloned the DNA to.
to inject into stormtroopers to make them force sensitive. So almost like the Sith troopers are actually force sensitive.
Yeah,
but I don't know if I mean, you're that again. That's just a big plot device
for this
in the movie. That's almost, you know what I mean. How do you go over that story with all the stuff that's going on? You know what I mean? Like, unless you just knew that going in.
Well, they don't have to mention it in Rise of Skywalker, but it is a big thing for this show, especially the direction it's headed so far. To be like, and this is what's happening here, but on the side, there's bigger things happening. So it's like you're shifting the focus in a way, to something that doesn't involve these characters, and that's kind of a problem for me.
Yeah. So do you think it's possible that because we're going to get these next 3 episodes, we're going to get these 3 episodes. Actually, we're going to get the next 4 episodes before the Rise of Skywalker comes out. So the only one we won't have is the finale.
Yeah.
I mean, do you think it's possible in those 4 episodes that there is a origin story of the First Order that will lend itself to what happens in the Rise of Skywalker?
That's possible. I don't think it'll be anything that if you don't watch Mandalorian, then you'll miss out for Rise of Skywalker. But like Moff Gideon can mention something. Maybe he's talking to somebody that is a part of the First Order. You know, so I think.
I mean, could it be as significant? That's because what we're saying. Could it be as significant as, now that we've got this DNA of this Force sensitive, we can now start genetically enhancing, Force powered troopers. Hence, all of a sudden in Rise of Skywalker, we see these Sith troopers actually using the Force.
That's a totally possible connection that I don't think they have to draw too much attention to. Like, I think they could say something like that briefly.
Oh, yeah.
And then we see the effect.
And you see it?
I don't know, because it's like...
That'd be tough. I think that would be tough for me. I mean, not for me, but I obviously I would know. Mm-hmm. But a lot of people, I don't think that... I mean, there's still a lot of people that, I guess, how many people are watching The Mandalorian? I have no idea.
Well, apparently it's in more demand than Stranger Things right now.
Okay.
That's an article I read. But, I mean, it's just one of those things where they can, like, mention it as just their plans to do it.
Yeah.
And then if you are watching it, then you can make that connection. So, but it's not going to be...
But then to me, it starts, you start getting to that, well, where were they the first 2 movies? You know what I mean?
Well, I think we'll find that out in Rise of Skywalker.
Okay, well.
That's true.
Yeah, so I don't know.
But the Mandalorian stuff, like the scene in the covert.
Yeah.
Like, as I was watching the first time, I'm I'm trying to focus really hard because they were throwing a lot kind of new stuff at you about the Mandalorians, and very interesting. Like, I really hope they just devote a lot of time to that. Maybe not this season, but season 2, because like, knowing Filoni, we expected this. They're just expanding the Mandalorian mythology, and I really want to learn as much as possible because they're laying down some good nuggets.
Agreed. I definitely think, regardless of what we get as far as Yoda's species, I mean, we're definitely going to be getting a ton of history of the Mandalorians and what happened to them, and what's your theory on? Because we've been talking about this a lot on the other show. So what's your theory on the foundlings? Are foundlings actually pure Mandalorians, or could they possibly be just abandoned kids? That are adopted into the Mandalorian culture?
I mean, right now I can guess that they're maybe both, but in the case of Mando, I don't think he's blood. I think he was just found and adopted the way of life.
Interesting.
Became like a citizenship,
Yeah.
You take a citizenship test and you are American.
Yes.
You don't have a blood, but you are American. So he basically did that for the Mandalorians. See,
I'm starting to lean that more towards that as well. I am starting to lean more towards that because I think what we see in the flashbacks, with these battle droids, and I was talking to somebody online back and forth about it because they were saying that the age maybe might not line up for him being the Clone Wars era, but to me it does line up because he would be about mid-30s and Pedro is actually 44 years old, so I think he would be an older person.
Totally.
And again, as far as the history I know of super battle droids or any battle droid, all that stuff was decommissioned when the Empire took over because they obviously recruited humans to be stormtroopers and stuff like that, and they got rid of the whole droids thing. So that, to me, that scene is clearly the Clone Wars.
And then also, it's clear that I think that's not Mandalore, because I don't think Separatists were on, but maybe they were on another planet within the sector.
Yes, possibly. It's possible. It's possible it could be in the Mandalore sector.
That's why I'm thinking he's not blood Mandalorian. He's not from that world.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and the one thing that definitely lends to that theory also is the fact that he doesn't have a symbol.
Yeah.
He doesn't have a clan symbol or anything like that. So that's what part of me starts to feel like he has to. That's the one thing he's missing in order to be fully recognized as a Mandalorian is what is your signet? What is your symbol that you're getting? So I'm with you there because I again, the discussion came also about Jango Fett not being Mandalorian. I mean, there are definitely people that aren't Mandalorian. Oh, and in fact, did you? I tweeted because of that.
I saw you tweeted Matt Martin. Did he respond?
He did respond.
Perfect.
So I tweeted at our buddy Matt Martin, and I'll pull it up right now. I said, Matt, did some digging, found that the story group. I found some articles that said the story group confirmed that Jango Fett was not Mandalorian, and this was a couple years ago. Not sure if that still stands, since we haven't officially been told that, except for a little comment in the Clone Wars show when Obi-Wan was told about how Jango was not Mandalorian, and but it seemed like it could have been interpreted to me. It could have been interpreted that he was not doing following the Mandalorian way, so therefore they almost like disowned him in a sense, right? Or he converted, and just like like you said, somebody leaves the country and just doesn't like the country anymore, and they go and
you can be exiled.
You can be exiled, right? So I said, "Can you say anything?" As always, thanks. And he actually replied and says, he simply said, "If it was in the Clone Wars, that seems like a solid confirmation to me." Seems like a solid confirmation.
Yeah. So you're telling me there's a chance?
Yeah. So, but I feel like he's saying, all the stuff that I read from Matt, which is a lot. I feel like he's saying, look, they said it.
Yeah.
And I think that's pretty valid. That Jango is not Mandalorian. But, well,
let's get into the dialogue canon. Yeah. Were you there? Yeah. You weren't there. So how do you know what he said?
That's right. But, the only thing, too, is I keep reading that Jango, and I don't know where this is. Maybe it was in a comic. But Jango claims he was born on Concord Dawn, which is Mandalorian, right? So technically he would be Mandalorian in that sense. So I don't know. More to come on that, I guess. But either way.
I like thinking, like you just said, I hadn't thought about it, that he was exiled, excommunicated, revoked his citizenship.
Yes.
Kind of thing. I like that. But he, in the Clone Wars episode, he did say, I think he said something along the lines of, he's a common bounty hunter. How he got the armor is beyond me.
Yes.
So that kind of makes you think like, so he didn't even have armor.
He didn't.
So, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, he could have killed some Mandalorian and took it, and, and or found it off a dead Mandalorian or whatever. I think that's, but I think that's part of it. I think the intrigue is to think if he is Mandalorian, obviously Boba Fett's Mandalorian because he's a clone, and then all the clones are technically Mandalorian, right? So it's like, I don't know, it's a cool thing to think of, but either way, doesn't really matter because again, I think the fact that he's not Mandalorian lends itself to mean that Mando doesn't have to be Mandalorian to do what he's doing, right? Of course, we will see. I'm sure.
Yeah, they made it sound very much like a religion, kind of a cult way. Of, phrases like "way of life," that kind of stuff. Mandalore. Even thinking back in episode chapter 2, Mandalorian told Quill that his weapon is his religion. Because Jawas wanted him to get rid of his rifle. He said he couldn't. It's his religion. So it's very much in that same vein, which we haven't heard of, and Mandalorians related to that type of culture. Yeah. It's all just, very much like like citizenship. It's not like a religion. So
Right.
it's a new way of thinking about it, which is pretty cool.
Very cool. Of course, Chapter 4 drops this Friday, day after Thanksgiving. So I'm sure I'm probably going to sleep in a little bit.
Yeah,
I'm
no,
usually up.
We don't have to.
Getting ready for work. But not, I'm just going to wake up probably like 7 or 8 and watch it then.
Sleep in a little bit.
Yeah. And trust me, I'm going to be watching all day Friday probably. Looking forward to Cara Dune showing up. I'm intrigued by Gina Carano's character. Little bit of things before we get our main topic here. Like I mentioned, we are both listening to some books right now. I'm on Resistance Reborn, which I think is it's really good. It's actually really good. I'm just in the early parts of it. I'm chapter 12, I think, where it is truly trying to be reborn. I mean, they're going all over the galaxy and recruiting, and this is just literally like a week after The Last Jedi. So they're still on the Falcon, trying to figure out where to go and who to talk to. But I love the fact that this is not a spoiler, or hopefully anything. But I love the fact that Wedge Antilles is back.
That's public knowledge. Yeah.
And
Nora
Wexley, and they got married. And
living on oh my gosh, what was that planet name?
Akiva.
Akiva,
and Snap's back and all that. I mean,
Snap's married.
Yeah,
it's great.
And then of course, Shreve. I'm hearing Shreve, and then Inferno Squadron and all that stuff. It's crazy how it's kind of calm. It's bringing a lot of those other stories back into this. So how far are you in Force Collector right now?
Not too far, but it started off pretty cool. So your main character, I think he's about 14, I want to say. He already starts off. He's already aware of his abilities. At least he's trying to figure them out. But the real interesting thing is that, this is I'm trying to think of timeline wise. This is around the sequel trilogy timeline, I believe.
Yes,
right before Force Awakens, maybe kind of around that time frame.
I think isn't part of the. Oh, it is. It's part of a journey too. So somewhere in that timeline, yeah.
So, but like.
To say where it takes place?
Yeah, I missed it. Audiobook.
So it's a new planet. It's a new planet.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's a new planet. Because he's in school, so it's very much like it feels kind of like a Harry Potter-esque. Like he's in school, he's got classmates that bully him, make fun of him for what he thinks he has a Force. Because so it's just so interesting. His grandmother, no one else in his family, as of we know so far, is Force sensitive or a Jedi, but his grandmother just knew about it and studied it. So she was, in a sense, his master for a few years, teaching him what she had studied about the Force.
Yeah.
But everybody else thinks the Force is a myth. Jedi's never even existed. What this kid has is just headaches. So it's taken, because we've always heard about, far reaches of the galaxy. People don't really know the Jedi.
Yeah.
But this is like the next step where it's just, they're straight up, don't even believe that they're real.
Oh,
They've never seen it. It's like those... it's like they're just like monks. If they existed, they were just like monk guys. Because how can a whole civilization of Jedi suddenly vanish during the Empire? Like that doesn't make any sense. So they just didn't exist at all.
Wow,
they were just stories to tell. So I love learning about these new perspectives that people have of Jedi or Empire or Vader even. So it's a pretty cool start. I'm very excited to see where it goes because like I read the synopsis. Not the synopsis. When they released the excerpt a while ago.
Yeah. Right.
So that was pretty cool because this kid's ability, so this is public, where he touches objects, he gets visions related to that object. Like Rey, like a force back in a way.
Yeah, or like Cal Kestis.
Like Cal. So it's really cool.
In Fallen Order.
So that's how it connects to all these other stories, because he sees Jedi from all the films and stories that we've read. So really cool start. I'm really excited about it.
Yeah.
And I'm excited to see where it goes.
Oh, man. You just said, yeah, Rey does have that power. Mm-hmm. That's what that is. Oh, I didn't even, for some reason, I just did not.
Do they call it something in Fallen Order? Do they have a name for it? I
think they call it a Force Echo.
Yeah.
I think it's an
That's
echo.
pretty accurate.
Yeah. So,
cool.
because you're going around and just scanning all kinds of stuff, and you're getting stories.
Yeah,
you know, you're sensing. But that's exactly what happens to Rey in Force Awakens. So she does have that power.
Yeah.
Wow. I don't know why I didn't even put that together. You just
Sweet.
you just opened my eyes.
All right. There we go.
Speaking of, real fast, before we get in our topic, I actually completed Jedi Fallen Order.
That's fast.
The other day. It didn't feel fast.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been
a week.
It's been 2 weeks, right? It's been 2 weeks.
I don't know, man. I guess it has.
Yeah, it came out the 15th.
Oh, okay.
Well, a week and a half. Sorry, week and a half. Yeah, week and a half.
You didn't do any side quests though, probably, right?
Well, there's not really side quests. There's just more exploring you can do. Okay. So I'm doing that actually right now. Okay. Tonight, I was actually before you came over, I was playing a little bit. Because it's it's like if you've done Assassin's Creed,
you beat it.
It's like a percentage, it's like unlockables. You can't while you're doing the main story. There's certain things you don't have abilities to do yet, so you have to go back and find those doorways and
like Arkham, take all the Riddler icons,
yes,
stuff like
yes.
that.
So right now it's all these chests and these secrets, that you can go find, and I'm doing that again, and I still have a couple of abilities I need to gain skill points for and finish out. But I did do the whole story, and I will say I'm not going to spoil anything because you haven't done it yet. But I tell you, it does. You need to finish it because it does raise a lot of questions. Now we talked about it last week on our episode where we talked about Fallen Order and the state of the Jedi Order and how could this take place in this part. What significance can this truly have? Gosh, I don't want to say too much, but the ending of this story, it actually took a different turn right at the end, and I didn't see it coming. And people out there that have kind of been spoiled a little bit, there is a significant character that comes into the end. It's at the same time that it's a change in the story that to me is actually very welcoming, but it still raises a lot of questions, and we'll just have to get into it more after you get through it.
That sounds very cool, though.
But it is the game is phenomenal. I mean, if anybody has, I know a lot of people had issues with Battlefront 2's campaign because of how short it was, and it was. Yeah. This to me, I felt this thing. I feel like I've been playing for a month, to be honest. Like it just kept going and going, and you're going back to planets and two different planets. Kashyyyk. I mean, I felt like I was on Kashyyyk for like 5 days. It was so long. There was so much to do there. And of course, the gameplay is just phenomenal. I mean, the Unreal Engine with, if you're at all a fan of Arkham or Assassin's Creed, I mean, it's very similar to those. In fact, when he runs, I feel like he's running like freaking
Ezio, those guys.
Yeah, those guys. So it's so good. It's very good. I really truly think that I actually hope they pump them out as much as they did Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, it was like every year almost, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I mean, I don't know why you wouldn't. You just have to just redo the skins, the planets and stuff like that. I mean, you have the engine now. Mm-hmm. It's so good. So I would definitely do it.
Exciting.
Now, again, if you don't feel like buying the game and doing the game, they already have all the cutscenes on YouTube where you can. I think it's actually 3 hours of cutscenes.
Oh, it's awesome.
Yes. So if you sat down and just watched that, you would get the entire story. So someone has already done that. It's up there. I'm actually going to go watch a little bit of it here and there just to recap it. But it's really cool stuff. All new planets. I say that there's 2 planets. I will reveal this. I do want to reveal this.
You said Kashyyyk is the one that we already know.
Kashyyyk. So there's 3 new ones and 3 ones that you've heard of. So there's Bogano and Zepho, and then of course the third one that you don't know of is actually the Inquisitor Fortress. And I don't think we know what planet it's on. At least I didn't catch it. But the three that you know of is Kashyyyk, Dathomir, and Elam.
Cool. Oh dear.
Yeah, see right there. You
should have said that.
I know, right? But it's not a spoil. But because you obviously go there. But what happens there is pretty awesome. Yeah. Okay. That's all I will say about that.
Okay.
I just watched Forrest Gump the other day too.
That's all I gotta say about that.
That's all I gotta say about that. It's funny. Okay, real quick, let's talk Ben Solo / Kylo Ren, because as we get closer to this, and of course in our speculation, our prediction episode, we will definitely dive into what we think is really going to happen here. But I want to kind of just briefly go through his, just kind of where we got to this point, how we got to this point. Now, I didn't realize, I don't know if you did, but I was looking him up. I actually didn't put this totally together. I don't think I actually knew this, but he was actually born the day of the whatever they called it,
like the end of Jakku.
The end of Jakku.
The signing the tree.
Yes,
thing.
The Galactic Concordance. The day that was signed, 5 ABY, so 5 years after A New Hope.
So a year after Return of the Jedi.
Year after Return of the Jedi, right after the Battle of Jakku, because they captured. If you read Aftermath, they captured Masamita.
Right.
He was kind of the one leading the charge in a sense, representing the remnants of the Empire.
Yeah.
He signs the accordance with Mon Mothma. Mon Mothma becomes Chancellor. He was born in Hana City on Chandrila, the day that the accordance was signed between the New Republic and the Galactic Empire. So that's pretty significant. He was born the day of the New Republic, basically. So, fast forward a couple years, he's briefly mentioned in the Last Shot book, the Han Solo's book, as a child. At some point, he gets trained. Anyway, I think it's significant, the story, at least, of Ben Solo. I think it's significant to know, and I hope people may not know, but he didn't get pulled to go train with Luke till much later in his life. Mm-hmm. I think there is an impression out there that he's been training with Luke since he was a kid, and that's not necessarily true. I think it was not too much longer before Bloodline.
Yeah, I didn't feel like it.
Right? Yeah, because I think even in Bloodline, which is about 6 years before The Force Awakens, so at that point he's 24 years old.
Yeah.
Right? It was only a couple years before that Leia had not heard from Ben or from Luke, right? Yeah. So I don't know. I guess kind of leading up to this is the big question is what do you think ultimately was his downfall? And after what you know of him, I mean, the big question is, could he actually truly come back to the light?
Jeez, man.
I don't think that's necessarily needs to be answered now until we kind of get to the week of the movie. But
well, I mean, his downfall, even when you just quickly describing him, I was thinking of some new things. Because I think it's a lot of stuff that weighed on each other for Ben. I think, for one, he's a son of two celebrities, basically. I think he's got a lot of weight of that, a lot of pressure, perhaps. The significance of his birth is the birth of the New Republic. So it's just what he represents, I feel like, is pretty huge for a kid. And then his uncle's Luke Skywalker. So he's the start of a new generation of Jedi. So he's got a lot kind of going back there. But from what I've heard, it feels like that Han Solo's, maybe he wasn't always there for him as much as Ben wanted him to be.
Right.
So I think that started to push him away a little bit. And then, even Leia, in Bloodline, she's very much had a motherly sentiments and feelings and missing Ben. We got that from the story, but it doesn't sound like she was maybe 100% there either. I don't know. Don't know yet because there's a lot of this untold. And then, I mean, the biggest factor is when does Snoke come into play?
Yeah.
And what exactly did he do? Because it feels like by the time we get to Last Jedi and those flashbacks, he was already turned, it seemed like, but maybe he hasn't quite fully on the outside.
Yeah, he's been teetering for sure.
Well, it's like, how did Luke put it? I think, when he saw the eyes of a scared child and knew, like, in his mind that maybe Snoke had already grabbed him.
Yeah.
But he hadn't quite, obviously, made that physical action to the dark side of, like killing other Jedi, at least so far that we knew. So I feel like that moment in Last Jedi, the flashback, was definitely the transition on the outside of him becoming, I was almost going to say Sith, but becoming, falling to the dark side. I think internally it had been brewing for a while. So just kind of combination of his life circumstances and Snoke just using that against him. So that's really the story. We still want to know is when did it come into play and what exactly did he do to him to turn him?
Yeah, I agree. I think Snoke is a very big, significant part of it. And unfortunately, I don't know when we'll get that story because I truly don't think there's going to be any mention of Snoke really in this movie. I don't think. Because I think this movie has to center around why Palpatine is there, not what happened to Snoke or what why he's significant to the story. I think that might come later in something else. But with Kylo Ren, I think we're gonna. I think what happened to Kylo was. I actually think it was a product of being isolated a little bit when he was younger. I think just, again, pieces together of all these stories, I feel like, Leia, we know Leia and Han, like you said, they never got out of their routine of being a politician and being a smuggler, outlaw, flyboy kind of thing, right? They never... it didn't seem like they ever truly just stopped and became parents. So
that's a good point.
As Ben grew older and just like Luke, when you're not trained as a Jedi from birth, you just start getting engulfed in all these different emotions, right? And which hinder your training. I mean, obviously that's why Jedi say when they're too old, they're too old.
I mean, excuse me. Yes, it's a little weird and I guess unethical. Seems like to take babies like that, but they have a good point.
Yes,
because 8 years old is like a good age where you're already conditioned in the world, and you're already conditioned in how you should feel about certain things, and it's hard to break away from that. So.
Yeah, it's hard. How do you like in Anakin's
cope
case
with these big things?
In Anakin's case, how do you not feel the loss of your mother, and not the fact that she's dead, but you're not with her anymore. That's all you knew. That love, that compassion, that protection is gone. But he had this, but who knows what we know? We don't know his 20-year span of, what happened to his life. I mean, he could have had his heart broken a few times. And, it's like could have had all this hatred and jealousy. Could have been bullied. We just don't know his life, but obviously. I think that, again, the most apparent thing is I don't think his parents were totally there. Yeah. And, and I truly believe, I love the scene where, when ultimately Han gets killed, I remember when I first watched that, it was always about him, when Kylo's telling him, like, I'm struggling and I don't know what to do, but I know what I have to do. But it's hard.
I don't know if I can do it.
Yeah. And at first, my first thought was when he's saying that, he's like, oh, he's trying to get to the light. But now I've come to believe that he knew what he had to do to get to the dark. Because I'm still, again, I am on the fence, on this side of the fence that says that he is not redeemable. that he is evil. He's fully embraced. He has done what he said to Vader, which was, I'm going to finish what you started. And think about it. Vader never became the master. Mm-hmm. You know, he started that path, right? I mean, he kind of started even in episode 3 when he said he was trying to recruit his wife to take over, right? But he never became the master. He was always the apprentice. And part of me feels like that's what Kylo was talking about. It was like, you know, you started this path of becoming the leader of this galaxy, and I am going to finish that. And so now he is the supreme leader. He is I think he's a Sith Lord. Yeah. And there's no coming back from that. There's no coming back from that. And I don't know. And truly, I don't want him to come back from that. I think he is the evil Skywalker. And I think that, you know, Rey, I don't think, again, we'll tease a little bit of Rey, but I think she's not blood Skywalker, but she becomes a Skywalker in a sense, right? But she's still the hero of the story. You know, I don't think Ben is. I think a lot of people want Ben Solo to be the hero of the story. I just don't see how you can. I mean, do you think that Vader became the hero of that story by supposedly killing the Emperor?
No, I don't think he became the hero, but he was redeemed. And I do kind of take Vader's story as an analogy to what Kylo could be, in the sense that Kylo can be redeemed in the eyes of our hero by whatever act he does and whatever is revealed. Like perhaps, you know, the big rumor out there is that it's this long con of he feels like he had to do this to defeat the dark side once and for all. You know, whatever, if you believe that or not. But regardless, he could be redeemed in the eyes of Rey, but obviously he's got to atone for his crimes.
Yeah.
Murdering a lot of people.
Yeah, he'd never see the light of day.
Either he sacrifices himself, but he's redeemed in Rey's eyes, but he still, you know, dies the death of a villain, perhaps somehow. Yeah. Or he's captured and he's arrested and life imprisonment in Star Wars, kind of whatever, or executed. I don't know.
Exiled to the unknown regions.
So the only thing I can think of, like the only realistic ending for Ben Solo is, for me, I like to think he's redeemable, and I'll explain why. But he can be redeemed, but he just dies in the process.
Yeah,
I can't see how he will survive. I mean, it's possible, but I can't really see it. Him just like leaving, you know, exiling himself.
Right.
I don't know if I would like that, but I want him to survive because I love him. He's cool, but I don't think that's possible. So he's redeemable because I just hold on to the one moment in Last Jedi where he struggled and chose not to blow up his mom.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Like that's just.
But at that point, he's not all the way there yet, either. I mean, he's not all the way there.
He didn't kill Snoke yet. He didn't make that next step.
Yes.
You're right.
Yes.
But it's just they left it there to where like they can unpack that a little bit more. You know, in the next film, I don't know how they will do it at this point because Carrie Fisher's obviously not around. So I'm not sure if they. Unfortunately, I don't think we'll get any scenes with Kylo and Leia. You know, face to face.
Yeah.
Maybe through the Force again. Who knows?
Oh yeah, that could be. Yeah.
But you know, I'm always an optimist, so I love the stories where the ultimate villain can be redeemed, but he definitely needs to, you know, pay the price for what he's done. So,
but in my story, the ultimate villain gets defeated, you know, but that's true because we're almost basically being introduced to a different ultimate villain, right? So it's true. It could be Palpatine now and not necessarily Kylo, but bless you. I think that you brought up a good point, but I think it was key in the Last Jedi unless it's being undone. But you know, if you remember when he first comes and sees Snoke, you know, Snoke told him like you're you're pathetic. I can feel the conflict still, and that's when he destroys the mask, but when he comes back with Rey, you remember Snoke's like, no, where I sense conflict, I now sense resolve. Like he has chosen at that point, like, yeah, I'm full in, and he kills him. Obviously, so he takes over. And I'm with you. I actually like the storyline. I love the story. There's a lot of Last Jedi I don't like, but I'm telling you, I do like the story of Kylo Ren and Rey. I don't agree with what happened with Luke, but the path that Kylo and Rey are going on, I actually like that part of the story, and the fact that they fought back to back with each other, and then all of a sudden turned on each other. And I mean, I would have liked to see them fight it out a little bit more there before they.
They're going to fight, looks like 3 or 4 times in this next movie.
I know. So it is interesting as we get into, speculating later about what ultimately happens to Kylo Ren. But, just wanted to talk briefly about how we think we get there with him. And I think by the time we see him, I mean, he's the first major person we see in The Force Awakens, technically. I mean, I know we see Poe first, but it's like he comes right off that ship and he's already on the dark side, and we never saw him fall, and be interesting again to read that comics that coming out, the rise.
Oh my gosh, yes,
the Rise of Kylo Ren, right? I think we might get a lot of answers there. What we're talking about, so
I mean, as Charles Soule puts it, he nicknames it from Ben to Ren.
Oh,
so it's
nice.
Like definitely
his fall.
Yeah. It's exciting.
Yeah. So, but I do think, I think especially now talking it out, it's definitely the lack of, the lack of his parents growing up, I think and it does show, I think, in the movies, him willing to kill his father and nearly kill his mother.
That's rough.
Yeah. I mean, it's there's definitely something there. There's definitely some hatred there that he can't get over. So, and of course he hates Luke too. So
and everything.
Lots of hate.
Yeah.
Lots
let
of
it burn. Let go.
Yeah. So okay, good talk there. Next week we will dive into Rey and what we can think of that, and then of course we'll be 2 episodes after next week. We'll be 2 episodes away for our show leading into the Rise of Skywalker. We kind of talked about we'll do kind of our prediction. I think we usually do a kind of a speculation episode, and then we do our full prediction, how we think the movie's going to go. I have no idea right now. I have no idea.
Yeah, I mean, I guess at least the order of the planets, but story-wise,
yeah, it's and maybe I'll get some more light on the story when I finish Resistance Reborn a little bit, and there might be some comics I got to dive into beforehand too, so maybe. Might be able to see that. But yeah, that's it. We've got 3 more shows we'll do before we go see the movie. There will be 4 more episodes of Mandalorian we'll talk about. We'll talk about these books as we finish those up. I mean, there is a lot of, like we said it, November is crazy filled with Star Wars.
I mean, I'm not going to get it all done before the movie.
Yeah. So. It's so much. The games, the books, the comics, the TV show, Disney Plus.
I'm so behind on Resistance. I haven't watched any of it yet.
I haven't either.
Season.
I am behind. I'm 2 or 3 episodes in, but
I'm reading good things about it.
Yes, no, I've heard great things about it. I do want to catch up on that. I'll do that over the weekend, the holiday weekend this weekend. So, speaking of which, hope everybody has a great and wonderful Thanksgiving. Hope everybody eats your fill and. Very thankful for everybody that listens to us, and thankful for my co-host here for the show. We've been doing this thing a long time, and never gets old. As long as they keep pumping Star Wars out,
I
mean, we'll keep talking about it. Mm-hmm. So thanks you truly for everybody listening and following us and keeping with us. Of course, a couple other great shows you can listen to. The Mandalorian podcast, one that I'm co-hosting right now with Martin. We're doing a show on Sundays after the airing, on Fridays. We're recording that Sundays, releasing on Monday morning. So check that out. Go to follow. You can get to it on Libsyn and of course all the other podcast sites. If you want to listen, get some feedback on there. There's a Gmail account that you can send your feedback to, and we'll read up on the show. It's truly way more of a deep dive into the episodes than what me and Casey are doing here. We're kind of doing a brief review just in case too. Obviously, if you really haven't seen it, I don't want to spoil too much about it, but we do a complete breakdown on there. Also, our friends over the Living Force podcast, go check them out. They're great. Of course, Utini.com. If you want to go check out all their timelines of their books, I mean, it's just a great resource to go check out what's coming in books and what they have reading suggestions.
Yeah,
all that
curated. Like even kind of like a quiz to recommend to you based on answers what you would like to read.
Yes,
really cool stuff.
Really cool stuff. Great site that they have there, and a great podcast. Go listen to their podcast, Living Force Podcast. Of course, join our Facebook group on Facebook. Go to facebook.com/group/Inside the Force. Join it there. Start the conversations. We got a lot of conversations going on there about Mandalorian, Rise of Skywalker, all that stuff. So thanks everybody for listening. You're great. Go have a great weekend. Enjoy some Star Wars. Come back next week. Casey, get your voice better.
I know. Thanks for sticking with me, guys. Goodbye.
He's Casey Cooley. I'm Dave Cottingham. May the Force be with you.